Should have been like a big howl.
Ooh.
Now, welcome back to Mere Mortals, episode 107. Today, we are dressed up a little bit for Halloween, and I'm already sweating my balls off.
Yeah.
So,
and I intentionally put you in the sun.
So currently on my back, there's a nice Australian
Intense
sun that is supposed to get up to 30 degrees today, and it is going to boil me, I am sure, as we're going to do this discussion. But today's Halloween. We've got a bit of meanderings to come.
Yep.
But as always, let's begin with a bit of a mere mortal moment, and you can kick us off.
Okay, mine is, be careful if you ask what someone is reading, you might not like the answer. So I was in the gym the other week, and I was sort of just waiting for my mum to finish her session, and she came over with her PT, and we chatted, and her PT's like, oh, you're reading something fun, like, what are you reading? And I was actually reading this book that I got on the top here, Disgrace by J.M. Coetzee. I don't know how to... I'm not sure how you say that last name. It's South African. And anywho, he it's a pretty rough book. It's like about South Africa just post apartheid, and it involves like him and his daughter getting raped, and him like on the farm getting like beat the shit out of, burnt on fire. He gets disgraced because he sleeps with like one of his students and whatnot, and it's just like this full like it's a heavy book. It's not one you read lightly. And so she was coming into it like, oh yeah,
what is this
cool.
book? And
I'm just like, no, I don't.
It's not something you'd probably It's
a pretty rough book to read.
There you go.
Just be careful if you're asking what someone's reading. You might not enjoy the answer.
Okay, nice. Mine is all about if you're not scared of your girls, you should be. You know, a bit of a Halloween theme. I think people are scared to be scared by their goals, and we've talked about in the past that you have to have goals that are achievable, which it's definitely a thing. But I think there's also the opposite, that you have to have some goals in there that are spooky, that are scary, that should make you quake in your boots, because in the end, some of those goals are going to be, I guess, the most valuable ones as well to achieve. And if you're always going after things that are not as scary and they're really achievable, like if you know you can do 5 push-ups and you set yourself a goal to do 6 in the next year, well, that's highly achievable. Make them spooky. Say, I'm going to do 50. I'm going to do 50. Get something scary on the way. So
yeah, okay. Nice, man. I like that.
Now for Halloween today. Is it Halloween today? It is, 31st.
It is. Yeah, that's why we're dressed up.
So
I'm going to go back from my camera for a little bit, see if I can get the people viewed, so you can maybe give a description for those who are just listening at home what I'm actually dressed up in.
All right, so if you're checking out the video, so I'll be talking, but you'll see Kyrin at the end. This is him in his full... Oh, the socks. Now, if you can't guess what he's dressed up as, he is Dora The Explorer. Dora!
Soy Dora, la Explorer Dora.
So we were talking about your shirt, and it's something. I think it's just getting smaller with time.
With time, it gets smaller. I've used this outfit maybe 3 or 4 times now, and every...
What prompted you to go with a Dora, by the way?
So I'll tell you why. I've got something even more ridiculous in here. So what prompted this was about 4 or 5 years ago. I'd never celebrated Halloween before. Never celebrated it, and with my girlfriend at the time, we were just like going around looking for stuff, and we came across this in a Kmart, I believe, or Big W. And so now I'm wearing a Dora the Explorer mask, and like the funniest thing was like just my nose was like poking out when you got it on properly, and it's so ridiculous because it's got like the hair and then you got the wig with it as well. It doesn't fit my face at all. I don't know any even child's face who this would fit.
The reason that's scary to me is I could see a serial killer wearing that as they kill people in like a Dora-inspired killings. That is horrifying. So you found that,
So I bought that, and it was like, all right, I'll make a full go of it. I'll actually try and do it. So then I went, found a shirt. The shorts were a bit of a problem, I got to be honest. So I got the shirt at Supre.
Yeah.
Fine. That was easy. Yes. Pink shirt. Yep. You can find a pink shirt anywhere. I found the most revealing one I could because... I think Dora's a little bit of a slut. If you watch her show, she shows a bit of leg. You know, I'm not impressed. I think her grandma really should impose some more strict Latino values on her.
Yeah.
And So I was going around and I was looking for orange shorts, and I did find some orange shorts in a Supre type store as well.
Yeah.
And I remember putting them on, and so I was with my girlfriend, and the shop assistant was there and was like helping us, and she was like intrigued because she was going, okay, why is this guy trying on girls' clothes? And not just girls' clothes, like young girls' clothes, that 16-year-old, 15-year-old.
You should have been doing it while you were wearing that mask as well. just so they were like, oh man.
No, it was even better that I didn't have that, because it just looked like I was
just trying on clothes.
Yeah, just trying on clothes. Anyway, I found a good pair of orange shorts, like the right color for Dora's outfit, and I put them on and I was like, yeah, this is feeling good. I like it sort of tight because it makes it even funnier because it's just like. I'm show off my muscles and whatnot. Yeah. And I just came out and both of them were like immediately sort of like embarrassing, looking away. I was like, what's wrong? I really like these shorts. I think they're good. The problem was they were so tight that like the bulge was just evident right in front, like just.
I don't know if that's Dora approved.
Man, I honestly, and thinking back now, I should have gotten those shorts. I should have gotten those. I ended up checking out, going to like Lowe's or something like that. Found some orange shorts. No, but I put a fair bit of effort into this. You'll notice the socks and shoes. Yeah. The socks. You can't find yellow frilly socks, so I had to buy a pair of white frilly socks, dye them yellow.
Wow, there's some effort there. Okay.
The bracelet. Just a normal standard pink bracelet. The bag, I wanted a actual Dora bag, but I couldn't get it, so I ended up getting one with cats on it.
Yeah, okay.
But still
next big thing.
Still the same thing. The monkey as well, Boots.
Yeah, Boots.
I wanted to find him. I was going around toy shops everywhere looking for Boots, couldn't find him. And then I made my own map. So I'll show it to you here. I think I wrote it in pen. Nah, here it is. So we're here, right?
Let me hold this map up to one of the cameras and you can talk through it.
So we're here. And then you got to go past the tree. Yeah. And you got to go past Grandma's house. Yeah. Over the bridge. Yeah. And then eventually you'll get that booty. Booty. So that is the story of the Halloween costume. And so I've just kept it ever since. And it's like, you know what? This is a pretty useful one. There you go. People noticing, people do recognize it as well. A couple of girls walked past just before. I did hear one of them say, "Oh, Dora." Dora." And when I went out last Halloween into like the actual city for drinks and stuff, I got shouts, like people on the street shouting like, "Dora, hey Dora!"
Yeah, there you go. So I'm assuming those girls were probably calling it out as they were calling the cops and said, "Oh yeah, can you please pick up this Dora? This Dora lookalike. You got to take him away."
Mate, I'm so hot. They probably like turned lesbian instantly.
Oh mate, there you go. So I like that. I like that story. I got a question for you. So
wait, first we've done you, me. Now we'll go on to
simple. I think there was a Halloween party.
Put on your beanie.
There was a Halloween party, I think.
But for the people listening at home, I'll describe Juan. So Juan's, as you mentioned, he's in the very hot sun at the moment, wearing his onesie of the Minions. Yep. So it's a nice thick woolen.
It is actually very thick. Not good for an Australian summer. I think the long story is there was a Halloween party many years back, and I just found it just in the shop, and I was like, okay,
just something easy.
Cool, this easy. Yeah, and I also
had
a pair of glasses that were Minion inspired as well, which were like super thick and chrome. And I really enjoyed those pair of glasses. They're actually really, really awesome. And I think I broke them at some point early on. Yeah. I was like, they would fit it really well. But apart from that's it. That's the story. This was also used for, and Mum will know very well, my mum used this for many years as pajamas as well. So I just used as pajamas because they were so warm.
That's hilarious.
It was so warm that she would just walk around the house wearing this Halloween costume as her pajamas.
Yeah, I'm just I know Juan's mum relatively well, so
my mum would do that.
I can totally see it.
Yeah, totally.
The wig as well. I forgot to mention the wig. I was looking for obviously you can't buy a Dora wig unless you go to somewhere ridiculous, and this was it's probably about 6 years ago. So just finding stuff online wasn't as easy as it is now, and cheap. And so I ended up going to a costume store, and I think this is a Bobber's wig, like a 80s. I'll see what is written on the actual box because I still have the actual box with me.
Like an 80, it's not actually, it's about, it's a nice
20s flapper bob wig is what I have
20s flapper bob wig. What a name.
Look how nice it looks, like her bob wig compared to me.
It's obviously been cut in a particular way to make it nice. And it says please do not open as well. in the top corner. Very
Yeah,
good.
that's for like in the store.
Yeah. There you
we're
go.
trying it on and whatnot.
It's no longer a bob there. Okay, cool. I've got a question for you. So let's go Halloween themed a bit.
Okay, let's do
Kind of. So something recently I was reading about, they had ranked scientifically the most scariest movies out there.
Okay.
And the one that won, escaped my mind of the name of it, starts with S, like Serendipity, no, something like that, Serendipity. And it had some like jump scares and a couple of things. Can you remember what the scariest movie you've seen is?
Dude, it'd be like Round the Twist.
Ooh. Did you not watch very scary movies?
No, I just like them. So I remember going to Paranormal Activity 3 or 4 with I think a couple of you guys actually,
Yep.
and just the whole movie in the back, I was just tensing up, waiting for that final jump scare, like that one.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy that experience.
Oh, okay.
So as far as actual scary one that's given me nightmares and stuff, I can't remember. I'm
okay.
sure there's one I watched as a kid which just stuck around for ages in my mind. It was like, oh god.
What did you do to try to? Because everyone gets that feeling, when you're watching a movie, especially a scary movie, and you're tensed up a little bit because you know something's going to happen, but you don't know when. Did you try to do anything to try to change that feeling, or were you just sitting there going, "Yeah, okay, it's going to be
just marinating in it"? I suppose.
Marinating in it. I like that. I think my trick was I used to just look at the corner of the movie, like one top corner. Because I knew if I just looked at a different corner, something's going to happen, but that's cool. I'm like not focusing on that anymore.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
fine. I think the scariest one was The Grudge. I remember watching The Grudge when I was young.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh man, that gave me some cheeky nightmares for a long time.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
that wasn't fun.
Yeah, it's just something I've never been into.
Okay, but then now in turn, so the reason I mentioned the movie, the horror movie, and then the
Scariest,
ranking
yeah.
was because the way they did that was based on people's base heart rates and what the max heart rate they got to was while they were watching.
Okay.
And the winning one, the base heart rate was something around 80 when you watch this movie, and it would jump up to 130 to 140 during, I'm assuming, the jump scares and a couple of others.
Yeah.
Can you recall when was a time when you have been the most scared?
The most scared.
Like, absolute the most scared.
I mean, there's been moments, and they have different flavors as well, because there's
Like, not stress. I'm not talking like just general stress. I'm talking where someone jumped out from behind a cupboard or something happened where you're like, oh man, I was so scared.
Yeah. So going for a bungee jump the first time, that was pretty scary, standing on the top, and I just remember I didn't jump off. I sort of just almost try to crouch out and lean into it, as if taking that much extra height was
going to help out. You're
make a difference.
Okay, nice.
Actual scared moments though, I think. And then there's I don't know if I've recounted it here, but when I was driving to Emerald, so middle of Queensland, had the chance to overtake this truck. He actually waved me on. I didn't. And then I was stuck behind him for a while. And then very, very stupidly, I overtook him on a bend.
Yep.
And as I was going through that moment where, 20 seconds, I guess, it took to overtake him.
Yep.
And I was just flooring it, man. Flooring it as far as my poor Mazda could go.
Oh.
Got up to, I think...
It would have been like 40 k's an hour.
Mate, come on.
Yeah, it would have been like, what, 120, 130?
140, I think. I was flooring it as fast as I could.
Yep.
And, at that moment, I knew, okay, if another car comes, I'm
It's
dead.
over.
There's I don't think I'm surviving this. Thankfully, I got past it. But even now, I every now and then, when I'm at night, I'll just think back to that moment. It's just like a little bit of a shiver, a little bit like, oh, yeah, man, I'm lucky to be here.
I had an interesting... When I first hit a kangaroo, I've only hit a kangaroo once, but I remember it wasn't scary at the time when it happened because you're just kind of surprised.
Yeah.
But you're a little bit scared post it all. And I remember I was driving through Mount Cotton. I was working at a factory at the time, and it was 5 a.m. or something like that. Something just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I smashed through this kangaroo at 80 k's an hour. It's completely gone. The car, you start to hear the car going through, and I'm a little bit like, okay. You keep driving. Normally when you hit a kangaroo, for non-Australians listening to this, it's a fairly common occurrence if you're driving, this is just inner city areas still. Sure, it's kind of like a little bit like the outback, but we're still within the city, 20 kilometers within the city.
Yeah.
Anyways,
After more near like a natural reserve or a park or something.
I drove for another 10, 15 minutes to get to work. Then I parked the car at work, kind of got off, and then I felt a little bit like, whoa, what just happened? And then I checked the car. Was it all good?
It wasn't damaged? Go on 80?
Oh, it was, yeah. So the radiator got like covered. I'm pretty sure there was cooked kangaroo meat on the radiator and on the engine. It was just stank like kangaroo.
Oh,
But I was
nice.
able to drive back home, so it was okay. The car,
it was
it was a
usable.
Mitsubishi Magna, an old Mitsubishi Magna. That thing was that was a beast.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was my first car. It was an enjoyable car, but yeah, apart from other scared bits. I'm assuming it's going to be when I had vaccines or something when I was younger.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
I would have just been shitting my pants trying to run away from these things and just thinking that it was like the end of me. But I can't, and I asked that question and I'm thinking, is there anyone when I've been like super petrified? The only other time I've been petrified and like really scared was one particular year. I think it must have been the first year I did state swimming, and being on you go from school swimming, good, you're in top 3, go to district swimming, again top 3, go to regional swimming, again top 3, top 5, and then you get to the states and you're thinking, okay, here we go. You're in lane, there's 8 lanes. I'm in lane 3, you're lane 5, and lane 6. You're looking around, and when you get up on that thing, I don't know. I think it was because I knew at that level I wasn't able to compete with these guys that were coming up, because these guys were. So I was 15 years old, and in swimming, it's good to be tall and have big feet.
Yeah.
And
Wide
big hands, essentially.
yeah.
Because that's what helps you with the propulsion. And I was good at the time, but I was not built to be a
you
good
don't have
swimmer.
the body
I
shape
do not
for
have
it,
the
no.
body shape to be a good swimmer. So I've essentially got a blocky shape to swimming. I'd have the worst efficiency. There's a guy who Tim Ferriss interviewed, and he's passed away, Terry Lachlan, I believe, and he taught him how to swim. It was called efficient swimming, like total swimming immersion, I think it's called. And he talks about how humans are 90% inefficient in swimming through the water. So I must be 99% with my body weight and my muscle. Like, it's horrible. But anyways, so being up on the blocks, and I just remember, you'd hunch down when it's like ready, set, and like in that particular moment, I swear to God, I wasn't going to be able to get off that block. I just thought, the gun's going to go and I'm not going to move. Like, I'm just petrified in that spot. But when it went, you jump in, and then you get completely destroyed in this particular swim. But yeah, those moments, I think it's, I don't know if I'd say it's particularly scared. I may be petrified. Yeah. I don't know, did you ever encounter that in like grand finals for soccer and stuff like that?
I'd get very nervous, but I wouldn't say scared.
Did you ever take a penalty kick in a grand final?
No, I didn't, thankfully.
That would
I've
done a couple of those. That did make me, especially because I was terrible at penalty kicks.
Yeah, just not so good.
So let's explain this. So Juan is default assertive since he began his life. And the way that I kick a penalty goal isn't, how you usually go, okay, let's aim for a corner, let's aim for this side. No, my tactic was, if I kick this as hard as possible in this zone area, it doesn't matter. It's going to go, even if it touches the goalie, it'll push the goalie into the goal, and that's the goal.
Yeah.
So that was always my tactic, and I think it always worked out well when I was taking penalties, even in finals, because it was just blast as hard as possible, and it's going to go in.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was. When we practice, I'd be hitting the corners relatively consistently, but yeah, I never had to. And I to be honest, I'm probably glad I didn't, because I think that would be a memory that would stick if I missed a penalty in the in the grand final to win it all or whatnot.
Yeah. As part of Halloween, I want to ask you a question. Something we've talked about maybe in the past a little bit, but I reckon there'd be some interesting things, and maybe we can extract some more info. You were at Dia de los Muertos in Mexico. So essentially Day of the Dead over in Mexico. Would you go back again? Like, would you redo that?
I mean, if I had to be... No. If I had like a re-chance, I'd want to try an American one. Okay. American Halloween. I hear they sort of celebrate it, I think, in a interesting way. They're just their cultural... Like, it's very, very popular there, which just for us in Australia, if you're unaware, I don't think people do trick-or-treating, but it's like, why are these kids at my door? You'll go... You don't want people coming along. Yeah, if you want to trick or treat, you need to prep the neighborhood beforehand. So we did it as kids one time in our mini neighborhood, where it was like all the kids get together, all the people in our cul-de-sac and the sort of surrounding houses were like, hey, we're gonna do Halloween. Can you get some candy? And if not, can I give you some candy to give to them? That sort of thing. Yep. You had to prepare for it. So yeah, it's just not very common here. And I think that would be interesting. Dia de los Muertos, though, it's a very strange experience going there.
Okay.
Just with the for those who are completely unaware, it's the one where they have the sort of face paint and skull and crossbones and the bones coming out. If you've seen the movie Coco, that's about that same sort of thing.
Movie.
Haven't you? Oh,
No.
you really should, man. It's a good movie.
Coco.
It's a really good movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So the orange petals, the sort of pictures of the loved ones, they'll put it on the grave, and then they'll sort of celebrate, and each will celebrate in their different way. My problem with it was it sort of turned into a carnival as well. So we went to this big. So I was in Oaxaca, which is like one of the places you go to do it. If you try and get a hotel or a hostel there, you sort of need to book it like months in advance, unless you're on the ground and you can sort of make things happen. When you're on the ground, you can just go around walking and whatnot. And the whole process of going out there was cool. And you go to this massive cemetery, and basically you can get drunk there. Like you can walk around with beers in your hand, and there's sort of like a family very respectfully saying goodbye, paying tributes and whatnot. And then there's the maybe younger friend group where a guy died who was like 25 or something, and they're basically partying. They've got music, they're drinking beers, they're big like photo of the guy and telling stories of him and stuff. And then right next to the cemetery there's just an alleyway where and I say alleyway, but it's basically like a big long stretch where it's got carnival games and all different types of foods and people, like celebrating and all this other stuff. So it had a little bit of a weird atmosphere there. Yeah. Okay. And I went to another cemetery, not on the actual day. It was either the day after, the day before, or something around there. And they had carnival rides outside of the cemetery, full, yeah, the whole shebang. So it's turned into, I don't know. Maybe it's always been like that. Maybe it has been a celebratory, fun sort of thing. Yeah. But that was my experience. That being said, I went there to a smaller cemetery during the day, and a family had hired like a mariachi band or something. Yeah. And they played some of the most beautiful music I've ever heard. Just like these guitar licks or strumming guitar, acoustic guitar, and it was really beautiful, man. I captured that moment with a video. Obviously it doesn't do it justice, but for me that actually recalls some big memories. Have you ever thought about going to Dia de los Muertos, or is that anything that would be up your alley, you reckon?
Not really. I mean, it is something that would be up my alley if I was there during that time, but I wouldn't specifically go for Dia de los Muertos to Mexico. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't call out as a big thing that I've got to go and do.
Yeah. Okay. Right, I've got a sort of philosophical one for you. Should we punish people for inaction, so not preventing a crime, or you know how there's this sort of classic example of you're walking by a pond and you've got a suit on and you see a child drowning in there, and you don't take any action because it's like, I don't want to get my suit wet or something. Do you think that should be a punishable offense for not doing something to help someone out, for example?
I think my natural reaction is to say yes, but then when I think about it a little bit further, I think I have to change it to no, purely because that then implies that someone has to make a line, like a decision in the sand of what is punishable and what isn't. Yeah. So, sure, like in that example of you having to jump someone and, like, say this kid behind us here, he falls into a river and is drowning. Yeah. Is it punishable that should we get punished because we didn't jump in to save him? So a lot of people can say, yes, you should have done that. That's more important. Okay. But what ends up happening if 100 people fall into the water and you only get 40 of them? Do you get punished because you didn't get the other 60? Or is it okay because you took some action? And then what if you take action but you just did the wrong action? Do you still get punished for it?
Or make it worse, you jump in and
drown yourself and drown, and then now someone else has to come and save you guys, and then someone else gets drowned and all this sort of stuff.
And then the whole world's drowned.
Yeah, so I think punishing for inaction is a slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope in the sense that once you start going that, you're going to find all these caveats and things where, okay, well, no, you can't really do it for this and you can't really do it for that. But rather than just going the punishing route, I think there should be something else.
Like a shaming.
Yeah, there should be like a call out. Like a call out if you didn't do what was right in the eyes of like the moral good or the ethical good of what we all understand as mere mortals, then you should have a call out as to, okay, that isn't the standard procedure that we as humans live by. But punishing it might just be a little bit too far in my eyes. What do you reckon?
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, probably same thing. The natural reaction is wanting to say, yeah, they should have done that, and there should be costs associated for not doing it. But yes, agreed. But you could argue the same thing with law in general. Like what
injustice,
what level of thievery deserves what, and you do have to draw lines in the sand, and you do.
Well, it's like
but yeah, it is a bit different.
Like say the example of you can't get charged for the same thing twice, type of law, right? So if you're charged for let's get something, not say murder or whatever it may be, once you get charged for that and you're found to be not guilty, you can't be charged for it again, even if there's more evidence and things.
Okay,
you can't
for
get
the
charged
same
for that.
crime, yeah.
Which, when you think about that, maybe outside of the law context, you go, well, if they actually do it, shouldn't they be punished for that, right? Or if there's more evidence, shouldn't they be trialed for that? But based on the justice system, no, you can't.
Well, I think if new evidence comes up, they're allowed to retrial.
I think they can't.
No, they definitely do.
Yeah, okay. We'll check that afterwards.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure if it would depend on what the new evidence is, but if there's sort of like video evidence of someone committing the crime, obviously then they'll have a re-look at it. But yeah, there are some things where you can't. I think it's very hard to go back and do it, and sort of especially like the retroactive assigning of guilt and whatnot. That's a hard one because you do need the context of the time.
Yeah, well, here's what we're actually talking about. Just to pull it out, so it's double jeopardy. So the prosecution or punishment of a person twice for the same offence. So there are all laws preventing.
I think you're talking about someone
who's been found innocent can't be continued to be charged again for the same offence.
No, I thought it was. I thought that what that double jeopardy was is you can't. So you do something, you thieve, you commit a robbery, rob a store, and you get punished for that, and you get thrown a crime onto you, like a punishment or whatever. You have to do community service for 100 days. And then the shopkeeper realizes you've also stolen, a candy bar in that same interaction, and then they punish you again with another community service. I thought that's what double jeopardy was.
Yeah, okay. I understood it to be different, but here at Mere Mortals, we are definitely not lawyers.
No. This is don't
go find out about double jeopardy if you actually are interested about that. But yeah, there is some things in relation to that. I'm thinking back to the punishment item that you mentioned though. So let's think. Inaction. So you said something about inaction, and straight away because action it's so broad, it does make me think like you can't put a line in it. But what about if it's something like an ethical, moral boundary? Do you think that we could create as humans on Earth some boundaries that, like ethically and morally, if you cross them, yes, you have to be punished. Like there is no denying it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean that's what laws are. If you I think, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if everyone agrees on everything the same, it's sort of like, the concept of money. We all agree that this piece of paper is
worth X amount.
Yeah, signifies this.
Yep.
If we all just decided, no, it doesn't anymore, then okay, it doesn't. So same with those laws.
Do you think there could come a point that is agreed to by everyone on Earth? Because obviously that's, we have international law. And people have done horrific things. You've read about the gulags and all that sort of stuff. And so still humans impose some crazy stuff on other humans. Do you think there will ever come a time when we'll all agree on some boundary?
Obviously not all agree, but you need to reach that tipping point, right? So like a society is dictated by the majority of consenting, whatever that majority is. So it's probably like 99.99%. We all say, okay, no, thieving's bad. Okay, killing people is bad. So as far as like a worldwide one, Yeah, I could see that just with the way technology is allows you to interact. Well, sort of like all the interactions I'm having on Instagram are sort of opening my eyes up a little bit to that. Just the fact that you can randomly send out like a voice audio message to someone across the other side of the world and sort of impact them. I think that's really cool. Yeah. So, and yeah, we were talking about this. Did we talk about this on the podcast or just off air? We were talking about wars and how war would be really hard because now that we're so connected, it's not like it's just it's not like it's just that person over there. If we were going to fight China, we're like Australia gets US and China get into a war, Australia gets dragged into it, and we're fighting against the Chinese. There's a lot of Chinese here. You know tons of Chinese people. Even I have like a vicarious sort of like, oh yeah, I know a couple of people.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm reading back on World War II and the Korean War and a couple of those things. You know, one of the big ways that people got, you know, not brainwashed, but just the propaganda that was delivered, say with the Jews and everything else, there was propaganda delivered in terms of, oh, you know, these people are really bad, and they only got that one source of information. But now, you know, you'd hazard to find that you wouldn't have different views. You can go and find, even wherever you are in the most remote part of the world, to see the two different viewpoints. So you could have a really left-wing view and you could have a really right-wing view, and you can, or, you know, if someone's saying, oh, these people are terrible, you might be able to find the other side just by doing a quick Google search. So it makes it a lot harder to have, I guess, just that one polarized view, because you can always find the other one. In saying that, though, it does allow more misinformation to be available, because with better technology and better deep fakes and talking about getting scary things, like it would be so scary, you know, if someone, imagine, pumped out a video of Donald Trump speaking, saying, yep, I hate the Chinese, we're going to bomb them today, and then that incentivizes bombs to start flying around everywhere. Like, that would be scary to see, and that might be aided by technology. So that, I guess there's some aspects of it that will help it, but there's other aspects that could make it quite terrible.
Yeah. The book I'm just reading, the one I've got here, so you've been publicly shamed. He's got this little story of him back in, I think it was 2012. Twitter was just sort of starting up, or getting, like, you know, famous people joining it, Donald Trump, for example, and things like that. Yeah. And he was saying how he'd been on a show, and so these professors had created a spam bot with his name, with his photo as well, and just posting random foodie stuff, like, man, I love dreaming of you know, that buttery croissant in the middle of the night, and stuff like that. And also like a couple of like more risque things, like dreaming of cock or whatever. And he's got, like, I don't know, he goes into a bit where he's like, I felt, you know, outraged that they'd sort of stolen my identity and whatnot. What do you think of that? How would you feel if someone, Juan Granados, you just found someone, Juan Granados on Instagram with one of your photos, and then they were just posting random shit all the time?
Yeah, you definitely want to stop it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd feel annoyed, I think. Yeah. I think I'd feel annoyed because...
That's funny, because I don't think I'd care. I think I'd just be like, oh, okay,
well, I think I'd feel annoyed because then there'd be the possibility of, like, the miscommunication of getting, like, people believing that you're saying something else that's entirely not true. So let's imagine that, you know, let's say, in this example, let's say there's a fake Kyrin Down profile out there. Yeah. And then they start posting all these things saying...
Yeah, like real hateful, racist comments or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Or saying, oh, I wish the Holocaust was back and everything else. And then people read that, believed it was true, and then they saw you in person and just hated you for it. So when it starts affecting you that way, you'd be like, okay, no, I don't want that to occur.
Yeah, see, I just don't think that would actually happen.
In terms of...
that process you just went through of people seeing that, then meeting me in person, and then associating me with that online persona. I'm just not sure the reach would be the same, as in that situation would ever really occur. Like, how big could this fake thing get? I'm not sure it could really get that big.
Well, here's another example that, I mean, we don't experience so much, but I've seen it a few times. So a lot of the fitness girls that I know and are friends with, say with Mac Fitness and that, well, not reposted. So a fake account will come up and they'll be posting pictures that they've been obviously posted elsewhere, and then have a link to their OnlyFans account saying, oh, come and find OnlyFans. Now, the way that the people are trying to use it is they're trying to profit off the fact there's pictures and make them think that there's going to be some OnlyFans so they can go and see more stuff. So
Yeah.
they profit out of that side of things. But then personally, those girls then feel like, oh, well, now people think that I'm doing an OnlyFans when I'm actually not.
Yeah.
And then that drags down what people might think of them. Now, not saying that if you do an OnlyFans, you're terrible. That's just a thing you can do. Cool. But people out there think, oh, well, now people believe that and they might think otherwise of me. So I think it would be deluded to think that. I think right now, you might think it's silly because we're just at a level that no one cares.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
sure, someone will post it out there, but maybe in the world there's 2,300 people that really know you, and the chances of that coming around to you are not high. But imagine if you're Dwayne The Rock Johnson with millions and millions of people that know you, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, and someone makes a fake video through posts, and all of a sudden people start thinking that you're a child abuser or something.
Yeah.
Like, you'd get some hate real quick. And I saw that with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So he publicly came out with 2-3 videos of him saying, you should vote, and you should vote Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And he's got a pretty big following. The amount of hateful comments that came through on his profiles was like insane. And he kept posting different things beyond that afterwards, just his normal things, his tequila, blah, blah, blah. And there was comments of hateful comments going well into probably 20 posts, 30 posts. And only now, maybe a month onwards, now it's starting to sort of calm down. But if I imagine someone made a fake video of Dwayne The Rock Johnson and he was saying something even more crazy and people believed it, I think you'd have a high percentage of population that would get really serious with it. All the way to... Because you can never acclaim for the extreme. So if you were really famous, I think there'd be some real danger to that.
Yeah.
But for now, for our levels, no. I don't think it'd be a worry.
Yeah, maybe I haven't thought this through that much. Just what you were saying about those girls with the OnlyFans. So yeah, that would be a bit disturbing.
But you think about it, even with, say, Sam Harris, when he had, what was his name? The guy with the IQ discussion.
Charles Murray.
And even the conversation that he had with Charles Murray, and they were trying to, they weren't even talking about the topic directly. They were just talking about what he'd experienced and why he did the research and all that sort of stuff. People still were like almost sending death threats to Sam because he'd had this conversation and everything else. So imagine if you just tweaked that a little bit and someone had just misappropriated some of the conversation, shifted some of the little audios, or worse, like just said completely something different. People would get like really, really badly at Sam Harris, whether it's through Twitter or everything else. And he's not, like, he's popular, but he's not the biggest, most popular person. And he was saying that he had death threats and massive issues for months on end after that. So I just could imagine it to become really, really bad the bigger you become.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to think of that.
Yeah.
Think of that.
I got nothing else for this meandering session.
No, me too. I'm okay.
I was gonna say that I stopped feeling as warm anymore.
Yeah.
Like the sun's still on me, but I'm
insulating.
The breeze and the clouds are coming along, which is making it nice. This has been 107 of Meanderings, a Halloween edition.
Halloween
of the Dora
edition.
And the Minion.
Minion.
Here in Brisbane, here in the outdoors. I'm gonna say, if you want to come down and see us, I know a couple of people have reached out to me on LinkedIn and a couple of other places around. If you guys do a get together or something like that, let me know.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future we will, but for the time being, if you do want to catch up with us, have a chat, this is going to be the best place, Saturdays. And we might start doing it on Fridays too.
Yeah,
So we'll have to decide what the location and everything else, but seems on the cards.
Yeah. I think that'll be happening. I think it will be.
Where the decision of where it'll be, though, I think it'll be an interesting. I don't know if we do it here.
No, I reckon somewhere
South
different.
Bank.
I think
by
South
the
Bank would be
Gabba. Who knows? We'll figure it out and we'll let you know.
Yeah,
So,
probably not the Gabba.
No.
I don't know. We'll see.
Depends.
We'll think about it.
Look, that's pretty much it. Mere Mortals Media on Instagram. Mere Mortals Podcast on pretty much everywhere. Just Google it, and now you'll be able to start finding us on YouTube, on Instagram, on every other platform, to be honest. So that's going to be the easiest way. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, what's a call to action that they could do? What's something fun? Leave a comment on what you think of our outfits.
Yes.
Do you think I could improve anymore? I was like, maybe I should get some like makeup liner and
Damn, that'd be going
go on the
deep.
full
Yeah,
route.
yeah.
Get some blush on my cheeks as well.
I'd love to see a comment from someone if they have a really crazy Halloween costume story.
Yeah, that'd be
something
cool.
that was like, maybe they dressed up so well as a baby that someone, I don't know, took them away, or I've heard this, I don't know how true it is, where someone tried to wear a gas mask in Japan or Germany. It was like in the 80s or 90s, and people thought that there was a war or something going on, and they called like an emergency response, and the whole town got evacuated.
What the hell?
I don't know. So yeah, tell me some of those stories if you do have them.
Yeah, cool. Very good.
All right, that's it. One out.
Kyrin out.